Go ahead.
Welcome aboard.
All aboard!
Activate.
Yo, what's up? We got a little activation in the market today. Dr. Stangem and John in the house on March
Yes.
27th on Monday, 2023. Had
Back
a
at
little
it, back at the
technical
chart.
difficulties earlier, but I think we got it under control.
Yes, sir. Let's see the charts. Let's get to these charts fast as we can. Let's see what we got. Let's start off with our favorites, our yearly chart.
Hell with the yearly.
I know the yearly is the one that haunts us. Last night we had exactly that same scenario. We had our Friday high right here, and then we had a pullback to halfback. Actually, right here is the today's this is Friday's candle. This is today's candle into Asia and London. It pulled up, sold off at the beginning, pulled back up, came back to halfback of this candle right here, and did just that all day basically. Um, we came back in London, and we're still looking like an upward move. We still haven't hit this high, but the market is showing different things at the same time. Here goes the move where it did it. We were up at the highs. We gapped up very high above London's close range. We were very high above, came down and into midnight, sold off right into London's open, right to halfback of that daily. Into that halfback, it did a huge bounce to the high, to the upside, taking out the highs, coming back to this peak right here, and then selling off right into New York. We sold into New York and we came right back to the halfback and we closed the gap from prior day. So we closed the gap from prior day. From prior day. And then we, during London's close, we had to move up back to the highs, just sweeping the highs. So we're basically going up and down and up. London's close was a buy. It was a sell and a buy. Gave us 10 points down, 10 points up. 1300 candle gave us a big move all the way up. And we hit our range. This is our range for tomorrow. Our London close range is right here, and we're right back at halfback. Where we couldn't hold 20 or 24, now we're back at halfback today. Now we have the low side of C. If we fail up here the high, this is the high of prior day. We fail this high, we're probably going to go through his halfback and possibly come down here and sweep the low of that candle. That's possibly our move going from Monday into Tuesday. We're already setting our high. We're setting our high, low, halfback, and we're right at halfback. So if we fail here, we're possibly going to go down here and sweep down here. And like we said, on the 2 hour, it has a lot of corrections to do. It came down here, correct this 2 hour, hasn't hit this halfback or this halfback. Right now we're in a market where it's just literally doing lower peaks. Right here, lower. So right now we could have a big move down. We're still looking at the scenario that they might sell this hard because the Feds are looking to pivot. And if they're looking to pivot into May, we could possibly still dangle around this price right here until some news comes out. It looks like something possibly could come out. Whereas some news will come out or some other banks will fail. Remember, next week is the beginning of the earnings season, second quarter, and banks are the first ones to report. So if that starts to turn out bad, we could possibly start looking for a fail down to the downside. And we are literally, this is our halfback of prior month, and we are above the low. So above the low right here. This is the low.
That kind of falls into our scenario of sell high, buy low. So that's the reason why they're trying to get up to the upside.
Yeah, and they've been trying to get to the upside, but the fact that now all these banks are failing and it's becoming an issue. Now, if you take the high of this, right, and you take the low of it, look where we're at. We can't get above this high. So if we can't get above 13, then we're possibly looking for a downside move.
Yep, and we got targets. We got plenty of down targets down here. So
I think more likely that if there's more news coming out from these banks that they're gonna make everybody pivot, or they're gonna make.
so maybe we've seen the high. You think the highs are in?
I think
Or
the fact that
halfback is it. Halfback as high as we're going.
I think the fact that the Feds have already decided to say that they're going to pause in the next, which the market is already taking that into account, that they're going to pause in the next meeting. They're going to already take that into consideration, that they're not going to wait for the Feds to come out and say it, which they never do. They never did say, "Oh, we're going to start increasing interest rates." They just hinted at it, that interest rates were going to start soon. What they said was like, "Oh, we're going to look at the data," but the data's bad because all the banks are failing.
Exactly.
Taking out too much money. So the market is already pricing that in. So the market is pricing that in, and we start failing, which our key number right here is 39.73. Once we get below there, I don't think this stops coming down for a little bit. I think we're going to have a massive move down. When the Feds usually pivot at any time in history, when they did this kind of inflation, fighting inflation with interest rates, the market actually went down almost 58%. Now, I'm not saying we're going down 58%, but I'm saying that we're going to see
So we know the move's coming. It's just a matter of where they want to sell at. It's a matter of where they want to sell at.
Yes, that's exactly where they want to sell at. And if you look at today's price movement, how they did it, they're literally getting, it looks like they're getting precision in here.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, they're getting precision in here, because even on the 2-hour, I told you guys on the recap that I did last night, this move up does not make sense.
I think all this move today was just New York
They were getting in position.
getting in position. That's all, because we're in 1, 2, 3. I'm expecting this move. Now, does it happen in Asia, midnight, or London? I don't know.
It could continue. It
Could
could
be
start.
Asia, could be midnight, could be London open. I don't know.
From how it looks, it doesn't look good for an upward move at all. It looks like if you took a trend line on any time frame, say that you just did a regular trend line, look what we're doing. Are we setting up for a break soon? We were supposed to break here,
but we didn't.
We didn't. But look what we're doing. They're holding it up more.
Now let's explain why we should have broke, because we had a high, we had a low,
and a halfback here.
We had a halfback, and this
look where we were.
To go here. They saved it.
They saved it, and look at that movement up. Now they saved it on a Friday where they have 401ks coming in.
Sure, everybody bought high.
So what are they doing?
We're at the end of the month, guys. So what do you think is fixing to happen?
After the 30th.
Profit? They're gonna take profit?
So can we possibly see a move down like this? We could possibly see a move down like this, right? A little bounce right up here again, and then a real fall down like that. And that's what I'm thinking we're possibly gonna do right now, because of how price action has been. They've been selling all the highs now.
So where is our halfback from this low and this high right here? Was we at halfback here?
Yeah, that should be, well, let's do it. Right there.
Okay.
So we should come back to that area, but once we come back to that area, look where we're at again.
All right, so we've had one market, 2 markets,
and then boom, come back down. It's very tricky what they're doing.
Usually it's like 4 times. If I want to
Yeah, so
remember
let's
correctly, it's
let's
like 1, 2, 3, 4 that they like to touch. All markets touch an area
let's check
before
the
it moves.
scenario of this. If this comes down here, right, and we come back to fail to hit this line again, right? Let's say we hit this 50% again, right? We have to come back up and hit that line from the bottom side.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to come back down and then roll over. So this could be a move down. Look where our range lays us down at that price again. I
Keep in
don't think
mind,
that,
we didn't hit range today
yeah, we
at
might not
all.
hit that price and we might pull up, but then when we pull up, look what we're hitting. We're hitting right here, the trend line. Say we hit that trend. Now, I don't like using trend lines, but the fact is that this doesn't look,
But there are a lot of traders that do use them.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like today's price action was literally, um, let's go over this price action. When New York sold this, right, and it came down here, it came down to a gap, right? It also came down a halfback. People trade that gap. So a lot of options traded that gap to the downside. When they
Mm-hmm.
covered and London closed, what happened when London closes that you have less sellers and people bought because they were getting out of their position and the market was
Right.
closing. So when the market closed, they're like, well, this ain't going down anymore. This is what New York likes to do. They like to run time. And if you see all this price action, look, they held this halfback right here, which is London's close. They held London's close, right?
Right here, guys. Right here.
And then what they did was they ran it back up to the highs. As soon as it got to the highs, at the end of almost the end of the day, what did they do? They sold where they sold before. So what did they do? They get options saying, hey, we're going to go take out the highs, and they end up selling to them all the way down back to the lows. So these people that were taking this long from down here saying that, hey, we're holding the gap. We're holding the gap is going to go to the highs. You know, it's going to the highs. They're holding the gap. We're going to take options all the way to break out to 42, 4,100. And we do this at the end of the day.
Nada.
Now you get them, the longs caught up here.
They're on their heels. They don't know what to do.
And then
Got
you get
caught
the
up.
sellers down here tight because it's above price. So they're trying to mask something. And realistically, if you look at the chart, what does it look like? It was looking like low. They should have broke out. They should have took off. But look
Right.
what we're doing.
We talked about this earlier. Yeah. This is what I was looking at right here.
And let's look at the 2 hours.
Because we couldn't stay above it.
Let's look at the 2 hours. Look,
Swept
boom,
the
got
ice
to
line
this high
first.
and couldn't get above it. Got to this high right here and we sold off. Got to this high. What's the scenario then? You got to that high. Guess what the scenario could possibly be? This move down. But look, every time we got to a high, we made a new low. So right now we're hitting this high, right? We literally hit this high. Can we make a new low? If we make a new low, we're probably going to break that low. So I'm not keen. Everything is saying that this is holding up. I'm not sure if they're going to keep on moving this up. It could continue to move up. They could continue, like we said like I said on the recap, they could want price all the way up here, address this halfback and this halfback right here on the yearly. They could move it up, but they have a limited amount of time and they still have this whole week. So we're right now the 27th. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 days. After the 31st, we should be at the highs, and then that after the 31st, it should start looking like a rollover. Not saying it's going to do it tonight, not saying it's going to do it tomorrow, but
Right.
be mindful that if we make a huge candle up, don't try to think that this is going to continue to move up. Because if you look at every 30th, look at the 30th up here. This is the 30th into the 1st. This is when it became a sell. Look where we're at. We're at the 27th. So let's look at the 27th last one. This 27th. Green candle, then we had a red candle. So, hey, we have a red candle back down. And then we have this big explosive move up. 1, 2, 3. 3 days up. Right? This is February. And it could move to these highs. Look, it made literally a new high. Took out these highs. So
yeah, they're trying to get it up because they want to sell high.
They want to sell high.
They want to sell high.
So we gotta be mindful that every time they're buying at the lows, they're also selling at the highs. So it could continue this move up. It could continue just doing this. It hasn't had a rip. Like, look, these candles aren't that big. This candle is probably the biggest candle around.
Today's price action was horrible.
Yeah. So say that
Horrible.
we make 1 or 2 big candles in the next 2 or 3 days. Up here is not a buy. It's probably going to be a sell until the 31st. I'm not saying it's a sell right now. I'm saying be mindful that lower your risk of what it's doing. It's very dangerous what it's doing because it's doing a lot of uncorrected stuff on a 2-hour. And if you go on a 30-minute, it's the same ordeal. Look, like literally this 30-minute didn't get hit. We got a couple that come back down, but the fact is that they're just running it up. And it's coming down, it's fixing itself. Like right here, it fixed itself. So I was like, oh, it held that half back. And then it made its move up. So right now it's literally still holding halfbacks, but right now you got a halfback that's up here, and I think it's going to be due for a pullback, possibly to come down to his 88, sweep that low, and then make a decision. Once we get to his low, we're definitely going to know, because if we get to his 88, we're going to be below that big candle's high, and I don't think we recover that again. I don't
88, 88's key because that should be halfback.
Yeah, so
somewhere around there, 88, 96.
If you take it on a small time frame and you do this, I mean, look what we're doing. It's near 85 is halfback of this move up.
Okay, so
on a 30-minute.
So that's what we should expect. It should pull back to there.
To 88, and then we'll have a decision making, because if we get down here, that's that candle again that we're below right here. We'll be below 90.
Well, let's set up for tonight and see what Area 51 shows us.
Area 51 give us 88. I mean, not 99. Actually, wait a minute. This is high. This is low. This is 151 is 86. Okay. This is the setup already for tonight.
Okay.
So say we fail this halfback, we're possibly going down here. This will be key for it to pull back, and then that pulls us back into that trend line or close to it. This is a bigger time frame, so we
about halfback of that whole rotation.
We could literally go back here, but I think it holds here and then dangles and then hits the trend line here, and then we make our move up. We could still do that scenario, pull back here and then pull back up, and then they'll take out all these highs, because the way it's been moving has been moving. They want to sell the highs and buy the lows. So we move the lows.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're probably going to continue to fucking buy this.
Well, right. What's Sunday's open? What's Sunday's open price? We need to keep an eye on that.
Sunday's open price was midnight or just the low?
No, the open of Globex. So Sunday night when it opened, when the market actually opened.
Some stuff. Let's go back on a small time frame. I don't really have that price just like that. So when they opened up, it was high. It was up here, like it was really up there. Like that's why I said this is a short.
So that's your 1800.
Yeah, so it opened at 406.
06. All right, that's key, because if we fail 06, we're going to continue to go down the rest of the week. That 06 is very key.
Because that'll be Asia's low. I mean, yeah, it'll be Asia's low, basically. And we held 151 the whole day. So we went down to 151, held it, went back to 151. And
they kind of bounced it back and forth.
And into the close, we held 151. So right now, we're still holding at 151. And like how it looked, nobody right here, they were messing with it at those lows completely.
We're kind of compressing, aren't we? We're getting tight.
It's looking for a big move. But look, I mean, right now, we literally went back to the 7 a.m. candle and sold off from it. So, and we swept the high of it right here, swept the high 2 hour, swept the low, swept the high, but we're right here. We swept the low again. So it's literally doing a back and forth right here. And usually when it does this back and forth action like this, it's looking to break hard to one side. I mean, this is a lot back and forth.
Yes, we've been in consolidation.
That's a lot of, this is 24 hours of consolidation.
But we did not break this high. I was expecting to break, retest,
And that's how,
and go, or vice versa, you know.
and it didn't do that
And
part.
we didn't do any of that. We
No.
just kind of, it was I don't know. Today's price action was weird.
It
to
hit the
me.
high, came down, came back up to the high, came down, and now we kind of knocked back at the high, but we
It's,
didn't get as high as that high.
yeah, I
And
know.
on
That's
the
what's
4-hour, we're doing this. We already swept the high and we're crawling back up and we're holding that low. But we swept this high. And realistically, we're between that candle right now. We're like at that candle, and if we take this high and we take that half back, we're still above that half back of that candle. So it's consolidating. I don't know if there's some news coming out. There isn't any news this week. So the market is actually free to do whatever it wants. So it's very dangerous that it could do whatever it wants right now. It could literally do whatever it wants right now because there's no news. There's no reports coming out this week.
yeah, it's a blackout week, I think.
They're
Everything's
able to
blacked
do
out.
whatever they want. They do it at the end of the week of the last week of the month because
We are in blackout. So
there's nothing that could affect the market. They literally could go up and down, and send it very hard to one direction. So you got to be very mindful that they have right now just.
but we're kind of displaying a double top up there. I know me and you talked about that earlier today. I think I'm showing 27 on the double top on the reversal script. So just something to be mindful of if we do start holding halfbacks. We're probably going to go sweep the high side and go for the highs.
Right here is this that we broke trend like this when we should have broke down right here.
So we got double top here. We got double tops up here. So we also have targets to the upside.
Yeah, the upside is not out of the question until the 31st.
It's just what they show us on halfback in Asia. It's what, you know, it don't matter. We trade up or down. It don't matter.
Yeah, it's all about time. So today London's close was a good sell and a buy. If you waited for it to hold halfback, it took you up all the way to target. And 1300 was a good buy because it held halfback and took you all the way to 28. Now after that, our time is done at 1500 Eastern time, 1400 Central. That play was done, and then it rolled over all the way back to the lows. You have to trade what the market is doing and not be biased.
Exactly.
It literally hit all the targets. The only thing that was key today is that this is one thing I wanted to talk about right here. I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. On Friday when we moved up, let's look at Friday, and I usually do this Friday when we moved up off that 1300 candle, and this is them hiding certain things. Ugh.
But you got a cross on your. I'm just doing a visual here. You got your cross on your moving averages right here.
And we're right here, ready to break up to the high side, and the market's already open. When we came back down, we came back into the 1300 range right here, and we came back to that 1300 range. So we kind of fixed ourselves. Now into New York, we went below that 1300 range, right? And then we ended up coming above it right here. So I thought if we held here, this could take off to the moon. I think I've said that we could possibly make a run.
Yep.
The highs, but when it sold off like this, it's very suspect now.
Yes.
Now,
but they could be trying to throw us off too.
Yeah, and once again, they held something up here that's crucial for us. What they did to that little box right there. So right here, and then coming back up here, they left this kind of untouched, like saying that we're just selling off, which is not regular in the market.
Right.
What am I looking at? Right here, this price right here, this whole box is really is key right now for me. That right there is possibly where we're headed. If we don't hold here, if we hold here, then we're going down. And then if we go down, we're coming down to this low right here, which is sweeping the low and that same candle up here. So we're looking at a scenario of popping up and then coming back down, which puts us right at that trend line. So that scenario is keen right there, making higher lows. They're gonna sell that high. If we break that 409 area, which was what was the price that we said, 404?
About what?
The halfback on this move up. So you take.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's still
80
halfback.
something, 80 something.
Yeah, this is still halfback right
We'll
here.
say around mid 80s.
It's still halfback. No matter how you put it, this is still where the market should come back down to. So it doesn't have to come down here first. It doesn't have to come up here first. It could just come all the way down and do vice versa. How it looks, they sold that top. I don't think nobody's buying that move up. It comes back down here, and then we're moving back up that way.
Under Stangem line. So Stangem line is very important.
And it was under it all day. All day under it. So that's why I said it doesn't look like a long wait into 1300. But it was still displaying the move like that. Right now, it's displaying this kind of action right now. Still above the high. If we break below the high of that 4009, then we're looking at, hey, we're going back to halfback. We'll probably fail halfback and come down here. We could have a massive move. Doesn't necessarily have to continue this move up.
Well, the reason why I think that we might have a massive move is we didn't do a range today. So something's fixing to happen. So we're going to do range plus some because we got to make up for the range that didn't happen today. So just be mindful something's fixing to happen. No doubt. No doubt. All right. I think that's about it, ain't it, John? Is there anything else we need to be mindful of?
Nah, that's about it for now.
All right. Over at Stangem Trading, we know how the market moves. We got to go over risk and disclosures. The risk of loss of trading securities, options, futures, forex, and commodities can be substantial and are not suitable for all investors. We're day traders, but we're not investors. But you must consider all relevant risk factors, including your own personal financial situation before trading. Do not risk money you cannot damn lose, period. That's why we use prop firms. Quite a few's got sales going on. Check them out. You assume the risk of any and all financial investments you will make. Why is that? Because we do not tell you when to buy or sell at Stangem Trading. We show you how to read the charts.
Cause so many time passed by. Don't know why I'm losing my mind. Ego was so strong inside. At this point I just lived a lie. I just lived a lie.
Other side.
Wish I could tell you why. Wish I could feel you again, but I know it's too late, and I know you're away. There's a chance to apologize. Nah, nah, nah. It's a goodbye, just a goodbye. Forever and ever, you'll never come back. Just a goodbye, forever.
Area
goodbye.
51.
I sit in my ride, think about you. Drive through the night, I got nothing to lose. Strobe city lights, they can tell me the truth. Tell me what I should do, I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to
Let's
lose.
go to the
Think
other
about
side.
you. Drive through the night, I got nothing to lose. Strobe city lights, they can tell me the truth. Tell me what I should do, I got nothing to lose. I sit in my ride. So many time passed by. I saw you last time. This is my last ride. I wish we're gonna see us on the other side.
Area 51.
This is my last ride. On the other side. It's a goodbye, just a goodbye. Forever and ever, you never come back. Just a goodbye.
Ain't coming back.